Volunteers in the USA distribute cash cards to communities in North Carolina recovering from Hurricane Matthew. We'll meet some overseas volunteers from Argentina who came to participate in this year's volunteer training camp. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Duncan DaAi. Thank you for joining us. A month has passed since Hurricane Matthew wreaked havoc along the eastern seaboard of the U.S. Residents in North Carolina are still recovering. Tsuji volunteers recently visited the hard-hit areas to give cash cards to 252 households in need of monetary assistance. Here's more.
Hurricane Matthew left a trail of irreparable damages along the eastern seaboard of the United States. Almost a month later in North Carolina, the path to recovery is still long and hard.
The storm did tremendous damage in Lumberton. You can see right behind us is a little creek, and this neighborhood has several creeks in it, and the Lumber River is what did all the damage.
Realizing how long it would take the residents to rebuild their homes and lives, Tsuji volunteers from Washington, D.C. made their way to Lumberton, North Carolina, a small town near Fayetteville in one of the hardest hit areas of the storm.
Since last week, we came here for evaluation and understood that the whole area is huge. There are about 51,000 families reaches at the FEMA. We feel we got to come down here ASAP. Unfortunately, there are some people, they are non-documented immigrants, and some people, they are under poverty and they don't have flood insurance. So they really get nothing from the insurance company.
Frank Chen made a personal donation of power tools to facilitate the Red Cross's team's work in North Carolina. As part of their flourishing partnership, the Red Cross assisted during Tsuji's distribution.
Just to see the different cultures here helping us, that's a blessing. It's wonderful. I'm heartbreaking. So I know there's love all around the world. There's love everywhere. This disaster really caused the love to really come out.
By the end of the day, Tsuji had distributed a total of $108,000 to 252 families in need of immediate aid.
It's easier to smile than it is to frown. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. I'm gonna keep a smile on my face regardless. There's more people out there with more trouble than I got. Even though I lost everything, but it's still a blessing.
An economic downturn, along with changes in the environment, has led some people to feel lost and helpless. In the Canadian city of Surrey, homeless people set up tents in the streets, some using plastic bags and cardboard to construct temporary shelters. Local Tsuji volunteers recently made their 15th visit to a Surrey homeless shelter to deliver compassion and aid.
Night falls, and on these sidewalks, homeless people erect tents for temporary shelters. An economic downturn led to an increase in the number of homeless in Surrey. Before winter comes, Tsuji volunteers visit this homeless shelter for the 15th time to distribute aid. This hot coffee warms these hearts with Jingsa aphorisms, also lending some encouragement.
Appreciate, be grateful for, and repay the love of our parents.
Being a good is not a. It is about not making your parents worry.
That's a good one. Right, good one, right? Because we all come from our parents, right?
Yeah. I like that.
You like that?
Different from past meals where a noisy TV blared, these homeless people are treated to violin accompaniment.
That Tsuji is compassion in action. I think Tsuji gives hope to people.
38 volunteers delivered 126 jackets and 132 care packages to these needy homeless people. Some couldn't wait to receive these warm coats and feel these blessings.
Very generous, thank you.
Generous.
Yes, very warm.
Okay, good. Do you like?
Yes, I like it.
In Malaysia's Kedah, 500 students from 7 different schools cooperated for a sutra performance. However, for some students from Kit Hua High School and Shin Min Private School, this was no easy task. Some couldn't pay attention to instructions, while others had no interest at all. But teachers guided them with love and patience, and they became more devoted to the performance. Some students were also inspired to practice filial piety.
With the teachers' love and patience, these students have calmed their minds to practice the sutra performance.
At the beginning, it was difficult to teach them because they never listened to our instructions. It was not easy initially, but now they have a good relationship with us.
Seeing her students gradually show progress, Ms. Tang Gyu-hua feels proud of them. She has also invited 3 former teachers to learn and teach together, as she worries that her teaching might be ineffective. Thanks of the sutra performance, everyone returns to school, ready to do their best to show their potential. Ms. Teo Su-gui from the Kiswa High School also joins to put on a sutra performance. She may ask students for help if she encounters something she is unfamiliar with.
I think that if we simply ask students to participate in this event without joining it ourselves, then they wouldn't obey our instructions.
Students have learned to seize the moments from the sutra.
I have learned to seize the moment. Because I live in the dormitory, I seldom go home to see my parents. Now I may return home every Friday or Saturday to be with them.
Though it was originally not easy for these 102 students to perform the sutra, now they are working hard to make their performance a success.
On November 10th at the Sanchong Jingse Hall, Master Zheng Yan held a talk with over 300 overseas volunteers in attendance. After coming into contact with the Master's teachings, many of the volunteers were inspired with gratitude and benevolence, vowing to follow the Master's footsteps. These volunteers are now more driven to spread love for all sentient beings.
Now with a gentle demeanor, Chen Yan from China used to have quite a temper, and her family relationship was always strained.
Sometimes when I don't win the argument, I even try to win by using my fist. From the Jinshi aphorism of getting angry is actually to punish yourself with other people's mistakes. And let us compete with who is more loving, not with who is more feared. Let me understand valuing others and gratitude.
A deep hug for one another, this couple used to be at wit's end with one another, as through participating in Tzu Chi's volunteer work together, they became understanding and grateful for the companionship. They have also turned their love into motivation to help the less fortunate.
Through the lens, I felt many things, especially the gratitude in the recipient's eyes, or even in the behavior of fellow participants in the moments I captured. When I'm categorizing the data, it really moves me.
He's not like before, where he's more thinking about himself. Suddenly he became very understanding of people's situations, no matter if it's his boss or his co-workers.
While Master Zheng Yan's teachings have helped change family relationships, she also hopes more living bodhisattvas can actualize their love in society.
慈悲喜舍要从人间修，大家要看着这样的方向呢，落实在生活中，步步向前。
佛心思志信愿行。
For overseas volunteers, they treasure the close encounter with their master during the short trip to Taiwan. However, they know in their hearts that as long as they follow in the master's footsteps, their connection with the master will never be broken.
The second session of the 2016 Tzu Chi Overseas Volunteers Training Camp brought together more than 400 volunteers from China to the Banqiao grounds. Among them were Wang Chen-na and Wu Ben-xian, a couple who joined the program together seeking a deeper understanding of Master Zheng Yan's teachings. Another individual is kindergarten teacher Xu Hongying, who hopes to teach her students the Bodhisattva path.
Under the leadership of Taiwan volunteers Wang Chen-na and Wu Ben-xian are viewing Banqiao's Jingse Hall during a break in their training camp. The couple from Hangzhou joined the Ziji family together, and through participation in the camp, they are learning more about the spirit of Ziji and the wisdom of Master Zheng Yan.
We came here to be closer to the Dharma and see its true nature, allowing us to learn more about Master Zheng Yan and the wisdom of great compassion.
A couple pursuing the Bodhisattva path can be a big help to the whole family. One person's effort may not be enough, because if it is just one person following the Dharma, it may be difficult and stressful when there are other influences like children and in-laws.
Xu Hongyi was introduced to Ziji through Jingse Books and Cafe and is a kindergarten teacher who helps to pass on the Dharma to her students.
Children are really quite innocent and pure. When we have a more convenient method to teach them, they will follow the Dharma.
Making the most of this opportunity, overseas volunteers can apply what they have learned and pass it on to more people back home, allowing everyone to do good deeds.
The third session of the 2016 Tsuji Overseas Volunteers Training Camp took place in Taichung. Among participants, one volunteer, Juana, took a 40-hour flight all the way from Argentina, and she was also the country's first certified volunteer. She says coming to Taiwan is like returning home. Her greatest hope is to meet Master Zheng Yan in person. Another volunteer from Argentina, Ali, celebrated his 60th birthday on the first day of the camp, and volunteers prepared a cake for an unexpected celebration.
A cake was delivered along with a happy birthday song and blessings from Dharma masters from the Jingse abode, all of which was quite moving for this Argentinian volunteer, Ali Miguel. Returning to Taiwan to participate in the 2016 Overseas Volunteers Training Camp happened to coincide with Ali's 60th birthday. Crossing the ocean and enjoying this birthday is an especially important memory for him.
About 2 months ago, I began to prepare for my trip to Taiwan. It took a total of 37 hours to come here, but everyone feels like my dear family. I feel very happy to be here.
Another volunteer from Argentina is Juana, who has overcome many obstacles in her life, such as typhoid fever, breast cancer, and obstructed labor. While she may have had many near-death experiences, she maintains a kind, helping heart. And after making contact with Ziji, she can be found at both large and small Ziji activities in Argentina. Traveling nearly halfway around the world, Juana says it feels like coming home, even though it's her first visit to Taiwan.
It's a very familiar feeling, like I've been here before, but I can't say that because it is my first time here. But there's a familiar feeling.
The third session of the Ziji Overseas Training Camp was held in Taichung. The first day of the camp included talks associated with sharing Ziji's humanistic spirit.
Our methods of communicating the Dharma can take many different channels and can be seen everywhere now. Through a variety of different tools, we hope to spread the Master's message everywhere.
After a full day of intensive courses, overseas volunteers from all over the world are still in high spirits. Everyone wants to grasp this rare opportunity to learn more about the spirit of Ziji and bring it back to their hometown.
Also at the third session of the Volunteers Training Camp in Taichung, local volunteers mobilized to thoroughly clean the Jingse Hall prior to the opening ceremony. They eagerly welcomed their overseas family with warmth and love.
To welcome their overseas Tzu family, volunteers are working together. They are cleaning every corner of the Taichung Jingse Hall.
We spray some water on the glass so that it will be easier to clean it.
There are some tips for glass cleaning.
Scrape from left to right to clean the glass so that we can thoroughly remove the dust from the glass.
Volunteers are doing everything possible to clean everything they can see, such as climbing up a ladder to clean windows or kneeling down to clean the chair. As the weather is nice, volunteers grab the chance to air thousands of comforters. Most of the volunteers are elderly people.
My vision is poor, so my balance is impaired. I will be careful, but more important is helping when I can.
Though Huang Chongyi suffers bone spur, she insists on still coming out to help out.
We all welcome our overseas Tzu Chi family home. We are happy to see them.
Volunteers have also prepared Jinsi Ivories and cards to share with their overseas family.
We want them to understand Master Zhenyan's mission and spirit after receiving the cards.
Local volunteers in Taichung prepare everything well to welcome their overseas Tzu Chi family, hoping to give them warmth and love.
Also in Taichung, Tzu Chi volunteers produced a variety of creative snacks for attendees at the camp. Volunteers hope to share their love with their overseas family by putting their heart into these snacks.
The daughter designs the mold while the son uses a computer to produce it. The idea of using molds to make Taiwanese traditional snacks, such as taro cake, came from Wen Shufen, who was a Tzu Chi volunteer from Fengyuan, Taichung. The steps for making this snack are the same as that of traditional cakes. The only difference is that these cakes should be put into a mold after it is weighed and finally it is steamed.
When we decided to make the cake for many people, we thought about how to produce it with a beautiful shape for our overseas Tzu Chi family.
The Tzu Chi volunteer from Holi uses powders such as moi to make jelly. Also special is that instant rice can be used to produce popped rice.
Use the oil and heat it and have it pop, just for a very short time, otherwise it might be overcooked.
After adding some berries, this unique berry popped rice is done.
Today we produce snacks using our creativity. We hope to develop a good relationship with overseas Tzu Chi volunteers by sharing these snacks with them.
Each day, 50 volunteers work together to change fruit into artwork.
We cut star fruits into lotus flowers. We cut them with sincerity.
We want to make them feel that their family in Taichung gives them warmth and love.
Tzu Chi volunteers produce creative snacks with love and dedication as a way to welcome their overseas Tzu Chi family to return home.
At the UN Conference on Climate Change in Morocco, Tzu Chi was on the ground encouraging environmental awareness. At this year's event, Tzu Chi has a new type of exhibit on display called the Green Oasis, which is an island on the exhibit floor where speakers can address attendees as they pass by. The Oasis style allows for crowds to gather around the speaker, which facilitates open dialogue on important issues.
We tell them, with your own power, you can stand up, you can make a difference, and not only help yourself, but help your neighbor.
Here at the UN Conference on Climate Change, Tzu Chi has set up their booth in an oasis style, with a speaker standing at the center giving a talk. The arrangement makes it easy for visitors to share in discussion.
When a lot of people come to visit the exhibit, they just want to hear some ideas or talk about concepts, or they want to discuss a particular issue. If some people sit to stay for a while, a small group will attract a larger crowd. The result is that we can spread our ideas to more people.
I was able to appreciate the presentation from Mr. Joe. It was a very good presentation. And appreciation to the foundation for saving Africa, for saving the world, for saving the Asia. This kind of thing can continue is going to be very good.
Asked him if ever they need me to volunteer for any kind of natural disaster, whatever, they could contact me. I just left my email.
For those who are interested to become more involved in direct volunteer work, they can leave their contact information. The Oasis-style booth has been very effective.
Everyone knows that climate change can lead to a negative impact on their country's industries and economic development. But when it comes to issues of people's physical health, most people haven't considered this aspect so much, so I shared with them about the findings of our 6 Tzu Chi hospitals in Taiwan, which show how beneficial vegetarian diets can be. And we also explained how vegetarianism contributes to reducing carbon emissions.
I purposely decide I want to stop eating meat like that. So I dropped the rate of consumption of meat.
The presenters using the Oasis platform are happy to talk to any crowd, large or small, and they hope everyone that stops by will have a chance to share their perspectives as we all move forward facing climate issues together. After U.S. elections, Donald Trump has been elected as the 45th President of the United States. His victory has brought contention and caused worry for some, especially on the topic of climate change. Our reporter in Morocco at the UN Conference on Climate Change asked some attendees for their thoughts on a Trump presidency. How will the outcome of the U.S. presidential election affect the world is a question everyone is wondering. Attendees here at the UN Conference on Climate Change in Morocco share some of their perspectives.
Well, I put my hand on the wall because I have to brace myself. Very depressing, very depressing.
Many scholars feel Trump's presidency will bring a negative impact when it comes to combating climate change. Others, however, remain optimistic about the election results.
China, Brazil, South Africa has been growing up economically, so the U.S. affection to this negotiation has been growing down, I think. So if Mr. Trump insists to say climate change is not true, but the direction to decarbonization could not be stopped.
All what Trump was saying before and making problems in South, and I think that will be changed because since they elect him in this morning, he become a little bit more quiet than before the elections.
The beginning of a new U.S. presidential era is upon us. There are many people that are happy, and naturally there are many fears. For now, there is no way to tell what a Trump presidency will look like and how it will affect America. As for climate change, it is still up to us as individuals to make positive changes in our daily lives to address this problem. To say thank you to recycling volunteers in their community, trainees at the Institute for the Blind in Xinjiang, Taiwan, recently visited the local recycling center to ease the aches and pains of the volunteers. Trainees expressed their gratitude by providing soothing massages for volunteers. These recycling volunteers are always showing their devotion to protecting the earth. Today, these visually impaired masseuses came by to give them a massage.
真的不错。 都抓到你的痛点了。会有痛，会痛。
He's working very hard. He is really helping me. His strength is strong. He's a very hard worker.
Prior to the end of their vocational training, the Xinjiang Institute for the Blind students stopped by at the recycling center to test out what they have learned.
We can come here and help the recycling volunteers by showing our gratitude and giving them a massage. This way, we are putting our hands to work doing good.
The recycling center has been part of the community for years, and this is a great way to pay back the volunteers by showing their gratitude and spreading goodwill.
Most of the volunteers are elderly, and elderly people in general are often overlooked, so they need more people to be there looking after them.
By relaxing people's muscles and temporarily easing others' body pain, these visually impaired trainees are also improving their own ability and spreading goodwill in the process. In Kaohsiung, a team of nurse along with her nursing team has organized physical fitness education courses for future physical therapists and teachers. That's all the time we have for today. We'll leave you with these images and hope to see you next time.